we got 10 minutes yet.
Okay, good.
We get to hang out.
Give me my address and my phone number. Send it to me, because this is going to be hysterical.
Get some! Oh, picked up. Get some!
The history down here is amazing.
Climb down 71 steps and you arrive at two big doors. You won't believe what's inside.
Watch your heads.
Suzanne Fisher has worked at Indian Echo Caverns in Derry Township for more than 30 years.
We have just entered what we call the Indian Ballroom. It is the largest room in the caverns. It's 49 feet high and 110 feet across.
The caverns are a cool 52 degrees all year long. On your tour, you trek a half a mile through tunnels and rooms, learning about the rocks that surround you.
Stalactites, stalagmites, columns, and flowstone. Those are rock formations that grow from the mineral water that enters the caverns.
A lot of people come in here and they see the shiny rocks I'm surrounded by. They wonder, is it a diamond or something valuable? It's actually a mineral called calcium carbonate.
No diamonds, no emeralds.
These rocks have to be dry in order to sparkle. Others are cream or have streaks of color, all dependent on the minerals that make them.
We're going to head into our Eastern Canyon, and we're actually going into the driest part of the caverns.
Another fan favorite, the cavern's 3 lakes, filled with rain and mineral water. Crystal Lake appears incredibly shallow because the water is so clear, but it's 6 feet deep. All of this beauty is actually more than 100 feet under the parking lot.
And you would have never imagined it pulling in.
Fisher says a lot of people ask why Indian Echo is considered a cavern and not a cave.
We're a series of tunnels and rooms all connected instead of one large room.
Each formation has its own story in the underground journey.
We call it the wedding chapel because over here on the wall we do have a giant layered wedding cake.
Once you're done with your tour, you can head to the Gem Mill Junction to make your own colorful stones using a bag of sand.
Dump it in gradually, put it in the water, wash all the sand away, and then all their goodies are in here.
And while there aren't any creatures to see down in the caverns, you can finish your day by petting and feeding some furry friends at the Discovery Barnyard.
So I think we should put the window right there.
Home sweet home looks different for everyone.
Our fridge will be on this side, and then up here we just have a loft for storage.
You'd be surprised how much you can squeeze into a 300 square foot space.
We have the washer dryer right there, and then a little vanity right there, and then a shower, and then right above is the sleeping loft.
His summer before senior year at Geneva College, Trevor Rocky is building a tiny house for himself and his new wife, Carissa.
I always like the idea of it because I feel like I have so many clothes and so many other things, and I feel like this will just really teach us how to live with less and really just teach us that, wow, we really don't need all these things.
It's a lot cheaper than a regular house, and I guess the housing market's kind of crazy now. We've always kind of dreamed of a tiny house too.
A tiny house being built from the ground up in Trevor's parents' backyard.
We get to see Trevor and Carissa all the time now. They're newly married, and it's just kind of a nice transition for us.
Neither of the 21-year-olds have ever done anything like this before, but books, YouTube, and help from family goes a long way.
I've been working on it full-time for about a month.
The high school sweethearts are getting a crash course in construction and design, as well as supply chain issues caused by the pandemic.
It's not just an experience they go through, they actually end up with an asset at the end.
The house's first stop will be a trailer park near the couple's college.
He actually built a shed on the very front of it.
It's costing about $30,000 to build, but the Rockies are hopeful that after living there for a few years, they can use the home for guests or rent it out.
I'm really excited to see the inside done and just to be able to start living in it.
Instead of being up in your personal space for an extended amount of time, they're getting quicker scares and then retreating, quick scare and retreating. They're not lingering.
So Field of Scream visitors won't have anyone breathing down their necks this year, but they're still required to wear masks. Actors are too, sometimes doubling up.
Now they're wearing masks either under their masks or a mask over top of their masks.
Fun aside, something that's become frightening to many in 2020 is high-touch areas. So those will be removed from all attractions.
Any of the like claustrophobia squeezes areas that you have to squeeze through, they've been eliminated. The what we call fear flaps that separate some rooms that you may have to brush through, we've eliminated all those.
Co-owner Jim Schoaf says things like handrails near stairs will stay because they're there for safety, but they'll get disinfected multiple times a night.
And we have sanitation set up everywhere.
Field of Screams is part of 13 Haunts, a group of attractions in Pennsylvania and neighboring states. Together, they brainstormed and created standards to ensure their businesses stay safe and stay terrifying. A big part of that is keeping people with who they came with and avoiding crowds. So you must buy your tickets online and choose an arrival time.
That helps us disperse our crowd out throughout the hours that we're open.
I know. See, you got both of us.
The Howard family plays basketball together every day. Something else they do daily is talk about race.
It basically comes down to my son.
It can be emotional. Christine and James started having conversations about being an interracial family with their son Logan when he was 7. He's now 14, and with calls for change dominating the headlines and social media, the conversations at the dinner table have intensified.
It's been a little tough. I actually got to the point where we try not to watch the news too much.
Understanding that there are certain areas you don't go to, or you have to be careful of or aware of.
The more kids know about their own history, that helps them be more resilient through whatever's happening now.
Social worker Ann Evans-Kazare recommends when parents in interracial families discuss current events, they start with simple stories about themselves.
Did they meet at a company, and how did they end up at the same company? They might have had very different pathways there. So all these stories about their family and their personal experience reflects our cultural themes.
Evans-Kazare says parents don't have to be on the same page about everything in the political sphere. Teaching your kids you can love and respect people that disagree is important too.
Everyone's uncomfortable, right? So let's deal with it now so that you don't have to have it later.
While the Howards admit it's not always easy, they encourage positive, constructive discussions.
Right now, there's awareness in the world. I'm not happy about the violence and maybe the destruction, but I am happy that people are aware of what's going on and there's a push towards change.
And you live it every day. So you want people to ask you questions.
When they don't know an answer for Logan, they look for fact-based research to share.
Maybe by the time my son has a son or a daughter or whatever, they won't have to deal with as much as he's going to have to deal with, and hopefully he doesn't have to deal with as much as I've dealt with.
Ready.